house at the time of Sandy. It was 2012, obviously, when it hit. And I moved down here full-time 2014, so I wasn't sure that I wanted to raise the house. But after talking to a bunch of people and getting scared about the increase of flood insurance and the increase of homeowners insurance, that's what kind of encouraged me to think about it. And I started to talk to people, and then I talked to other people and joined Stop FEMA Now, and I met George Casimos, and that's sort of how I got to come to your seminar, because we actually went up to Washington to fight FEMA. And he said, when I came to your seminar, people were talking about, I mean, it was crazy, one of the first ones, where people were getting ripped off. FEMA gave the contractors money, and people were out of their homes, and it was like a total disaster. So I'm thinking to myself, because I wasn't living there at the time, I was going to have to pay for it myself, but it was a decision to make. I didn't have to get my house raised. But what scared me was the flood insurance, even though I had my mortgage completely paid off. So we spoke about that. So I decided to come to the seminar and hear all the disaster stories, and then I decided to, I think I looked around first, and then when I came here, George was saying that, you know, Vince has a schedule of payments, so you don't throw $150,000 to him and expect it all to be done like all these people are doing and getting ripped off. So to make a long story short, I signed the contract. I was, you know, and Vince, we talked about things, and he said, I said, if this was your house, what would you do? He gave me some advice about what he would do, and I was very happy with it. So I trusted it, I signed the contract, and then we went on. We continued the project. So here's a funny story that you didn't know. So I'm still nervous, you know, and then finally it was the beginning of the summer, and he gave me the designs, and I said, you know, I think I just want to offset the cost and rent my summer house before we make a new kitchen, and I do granite and all that kind of stuff. So he was willing to negotiate with me, and he said, well, just put the project off until you rent the house and make some more money to offset the cost. So then we did that. The summer was great. I got a bunch of rentals, and I made some money, and then September we started, and boom, things just started progressing all along. But, you know, you're still nervous because, you know, I'm kind of on my own. So I had to go into this AT&T store to get my cell phone changed or upgraded or whatever. And I walk into the cell phone store, actually worked for AT&T, and I said to the rep there, I said, I need this done or whatever, and he said, that's fine. He goes, by the way, he said, you're in the Freehold store. He goes, why aren't you in the Tom's River store? And I said, not that it makes a difference or not, but I'm getting my house, you know, my house under construction, I'm getting it raised. And he said to me, who's doing the construction? And this is not a sales thing, like I said, it's just the truth. And because I was still nervous, I said, Vince Simonelli, Dream Homes. And he said, oh my God. He goes, I know them. My family has been doing business with him for 30 years because they're in the plumbing industry, the electrician industry in Tom's River. And he said, he will do right by you. Don't even worry about it.
If we weren't on camera right now, I would miss this.
What I'm trying to tell you is, I was
scripted.
so nervous about the whole thing, even though I signed the contract and we were doing everything, and he just calmed my nerves down, so that's why you didn't hear from me. No, but in all honesty, everything has been going really well. I've had people over that don't, obviously know Vince, people that have come by and looked at it, even they looked at pictures, lifters have seen my pictures and said, I'm telling you right now, they're doing a very good job. And I've gone at every portion of the, I've just dropped by, unbeknownst to you, to see the project. And, sometimes when I'm there and I open up my door, people are always passing by because I'm in such a busy area of South Seaside that I open my door and there's people walking by, is that your house? And I go, yes. They go, it looks beautiful. So I can't tell you how happy I am. The kitchen turned out absolutely beautiful. We're about 5 hours from the project being completed.
Yeah,
we have inspections coming tomorrow, and the electrician and the plumbing, and I'm sure that it's going to be, I'm sure it's going to pass. and then we have to do the CO, and that's basically it. But I can tell you that I'm very happy, and it worked out the way I did, because I was really afraid, like I said, of giving giving my money out. But when George Casimo said you were obviously, really good, and then I heard all the disasters here, and, I trusted you, so it worked out to be really, I'm very happy.
Great, thank you.
And the
You
house is
didn't get any
great.
money from the grant? No, you paid it out of
I
your
wasn't
pocket?
living there at the time. I did fight FEMA. I was lucky to meet people here, and I got a couple of lawyers from Louisiana, and they looked over all of my, I put a whole binder together, and they looked over my whole, what I got back from the flood insurance people, and they did it for free. And they looked it over for 2 hours. I said everything to them. I said, we want to sit down here. We looked over your files, and I go, like, how much do I owe you? They're like, nothing. And FEMA was going to give me an extra $8,000. They ended up giving me an extra $22,000.
Wow.
So,
And it was your second home?
well, now it's my regular home.
But when you applied for FEMA, was it your second?
No, it was my regular home because I was in the middle of a divorce.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So I moved down here after, all during that. But the scare that, Vince and I actually, everything that he talked about now, we talked in person, and it was that he said to me that if you don't raise your house and you want to sell it, you're going to lose 150. And there's plenty of houses in Seaside Park right now, and I know they can't sell. They're not selling.
Right.
And I know that if I put it on the market,
I
I know
can sell
my,
your house right now immediately.
I know my house is going to sell.
Sure.
Okay, and that was the smart thing to do. The other thing is what scared me was, I did have the mortgage paid off when I moved in, so I was scared about, getting a new mortgage. And I did call the flood insurance and I said, let's make believe I go to flood code. And I said, how much would my flood insurance be? So they figured it out, and they said it's going to be $600, because I was paying at that time. So I have a Cape Cod. I have a 50 by 100 lot. It's not a big house. It's a four bedroom, 2 bathroom, 1 kitchen. The attic, obviously, in a Cape Cod is, it's where my bedroom is. So I built it, the attic, so to speak, or it was done by the time I got there. So sure enough, I call up the flood people, and I said, I'm on flood code. You sent me the CE, the certification of elevation, and I got my flood bill. $600.
oh my God.
Down from 13.
That's
So in
nice.
20 years, that's 14,000, I think, that you saved.
Good.
So I don't know if my taxes are going to go
And
sky high.
Kathy, your flood insurance would not have stayed at 14.
It would have went,
Your
you're
flood
exactly right.
insurance
Sure.
Would have went
gone
to,
up to 3,500.
right.
Absolutely.
So, but
Okay,
the
so
thing
you
is,
saved for the
right.
1 year.
and the thing is, because I didn't have a mortgage, I didn't have to get it, but it would be ridiculous for me, I feel,
Right.
not to have flood insurance.
Sure.
Even if your mortgage is paid.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And plus, I was living there permanently, so I needed to upgrade the shed and all that. And I figured, why don't I just do this for that price? And then we made some provisions to the original contract. I decided to get siding on the house because I figured I can't, necessarily go 20 feet up and paint the house anymore, right? Although it was fun when I did it. And then we removed the outside. I loved having a brick fireplace, but I've spoken to people in the neighborhood, and to keep up, the real brick fireplace was astronomical. So we just said, we made those decisions, and, Vince helped me, come to that conclusion. So, like I said, I've had lifters look at it that are in the business, and they said, they did a great job. And then people walking by, and Gill was out with me one day, and this man walked by and said, in the very beginning, some of the lifters weren't doing the right job, and the houses were swaying.
Wow.
And they had to redo it, and I'm like, thank God. Thank God I heard all the disaster stories and did it after all the, I'm sorry for the people that had to go through that, but, so when I went there and I talked to one of your workers was there, and he goes, no, these are going 20 feet in the ground and 10 feet above, and I was like,
30.
wow. Because my house right now, because I've stayed overnight, which I shouldn't have, I'm not supposed to.
Oh my God,
Without
is
the
that
sun.
on
We'll
film?
edit that.
Oh, we're gonna edit that right
But,
out.
no, the house doesn't shake, it's completely sturdy, and I'm super happy.
Great.
So,
Hey, all
Thank you.
right.